All right, welcome. Thank you guys for hopping on live, that we're able to hop on live. If you're watching this on a replay or a recording, don't fret. This is going to be super worth it. I think sometimes when people hear core values or things like that for their business, they kind of like, oh, I don't really need that right now. There's other urgent and important things that I need to be working on or building for my business, and core values just isn't one of them. That's fluff. That's what I thought. Years ago, that is what I thought. I thought that, creating your core values for your business was more just fluff and unnecessary work to put in. And I actually just didn't understand the importance of them and the different things, like to get really, really focused on why I needed them. So I'm going to tell you a couple stories. I'm going to give you some 5 reasons why they're needed in your business and why they're actually needed in your personal life. I'm actually going to give you some exercises on how to put them together. And I have a little PDF a little worksheet, if you guys want it. It will go out in the email. It'll also be something you can grab in the community. So you guys can hear that noise in the background, but it's ultra distracting for me. So what are core values? Core values are the fundamental beliefs and principles that guide and shape an individual or organization's behavior, decisions, and actions. They are deeply held convictions that define what is important and meaningful to a person or a business. Core values serve as a compass, providing a framework for making choices and setting priorities. A couple of stories. Let's start off and just get real comfortable here. A couple of stories. Years ago, I was approached about a business model that seemed pretty interesting, but I had some other things going on in my life right at that moment. I was building a network marketing team. It was absolutely exploding. We were having massive momentum, and I was extremely busy helping build that team and being the leader that I thought that I needed to be for my business and for my team, and to keep the massive growth we were seeing on trajectory. And this is really important for you network marketers to understand why at that critical moment, I should have had some core values set for my business. I said no to the business opportunity. It wasn't another network marketing company. It was actually to start building out a tech company. And I said no, like repeatedly over about 3 months, and about 10 attempts to get me to do this and join this. The people that were putting it together and had the idea needed my brain and expertise in the network marketing field to give input. And I thought it was a great idea. I just knew that it would pull me away from what I believed was the most important at that time. It was building our network marketing team. And I knew that, but I also didn't have core values set up for myself. Like, I knew what was important to me, transparency and honesty and all of those things, right? Like, we all just kind of take for granted that we want to operate our lives on a good path and we're good people and we do things in a certain way, but actually having them defined so that you can make quick, good, and I don't even say quick, yes, you will need these to make quick decisions down the road, but this was one I should have sat back and really spent some time putting through a set of core values that I did not have in place at that time. So 2 reasons why I should have had core values set. And then when I did finally say yes to this business opportunity, why in a partnership, you should set core values before doing anything. So I fast forward 1.5 years from there, 6 figures put into this business model. And we started having some issues in the partnerships, and probably because we didn't set core values at the very beginning of how this business would operate. And so a lot of turmoil ensued, and it actually took out a good chunk of 5 years of my life, multiple 6 figures lost on my behalf, and other people's too. And it really took a massive toll on my life. It set us back personally, business-wise, a good 5 to 10 years because of how much money was poured into it. And all of it really boils down to, I can go back and look at the whole thing now and say it all boils down to the fact that I should have continued to say no when I knew that no was the right answer, but I felt pressured and didn't have my core values set in place, number 1. Number 2, once I said yes, and there was going to be multiple people involved, we should have sat down as a team and put core values in place so that when decisions needed to be made, and things needed to happen, we always operated under the same guide of core values that we all agreed on, because decision making would have been so much easier at that point. And I think that we would have avoided what ultimately ended that business in a big, giant loss of time and money for multiple people. So that, I do believe, along the way, the core values being set personally and for the business cost a lot of people a lot of money and a lot of time, and could have been avoided had we set it up. My second story is in network marketing along the same time, because I was doing both, and probably a little distracted because I had too much on my plate. But I didn't have core values set up for my network marketing team. You go along with I run business with integrity and honesty and transparency, and you kind of have all those things in your brain. Like I said, you want to operate under the guidelines of what you believe you already have instilled as core values, instead of actually setting them and creating them, especially in a network marketing team, because a lot of people get started in network marketing and don't realize that it's actually a very solid business plan, but you have to treat it like a business. And if you don't, you can end up with a nice big hobby on your plate that has a lot of drama attached to it, because in network marketing, you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of personalities. So setting core values for your network marketing team is one of the most important places that you should be setting it, so that it avoids a lot of drama and conflict. We had somebody come on to our team that was a hot runner, and he was ready to rock and roll. He was on probably my 20-something level. I didn't even get paid on him, but he was bringing in a lot of volume, and he wanted to speak on all the stages. And he was always a put me in coach person, and is something that we as network marketing leaders look for. Like, he exuded all of the characteristics. But what I didn't realize, because I didn't have core values set up for our team, is that I broke every rule in the playbook. Unknowingly. It was ignorance and lack of experience in this type of scenario that I should have seen this coming head on. And Eric Worre, I call him the godfather of network marketing. I went through a training of his after this all happened. And they call people like this dragons in the industry. And if you find one of these sneaking into your team unbeknownst to you, and you figure out that they're a problem causer, a drama starter, a person who has too much ego, like, there's a multitude of things that they can have, but you got to slay the dragon pretty quickly. Well, if I had had core values set in place for our team, none of this would have happened, because immediately I would have seen what I was doing wasn't right. And so it was a big learning, big mistake and big learning experience for me, because what happened is I gave this person the stage too much, the microphone too much, too much authority in the team, too much accolades from me. I gave this person too much credibility. And so when this person and I then did not see eye to eye any longer, because I could see some things that were happening on his team and how he was operating, and people were coming to me and saying, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. I was absolutely dumbfounded. But at that point, I had given too much control. I had given too much authority and credibility to this person. And a lot of the people on my team, and leaders included, started watching him instead of me. And I knew what core values I operated by. This person had no interpersonal core values whatsoever. I don't even believe to this day they do. But what happened is my whole team shifted their focus. Well, a good portion of my team shifted their focus to this individual and started really following him. And so when there was a misalignment, and I tried to gather my team back to go, okay, that's not the way we want to operate business. That team's going to fall apart. It was too late. And it ended up creating a massive divide on a team that was doing $1 million a month in sales at this point. That $1 million a month in sales over the course of the next few years disintegrated to like $200,000-$300,000 a month, because of the divide it created on our team, because we did not have core values that created a culture that wouldn't allow for things like that to happen. I'm telling you these two stories before I even get into the rest of the bullet points, because I want you to understand two things in my business life that happened that were so drastic and have probably cost me millions of dollars in both aspects. all because of not having core values set in place. And I say that I want to push people when I get started in business coaching, whether it be a network marketer or an online entrepreneur or a coach or any type of business model. It's the second piece in my 12-step program, because I do believe that if people set up their core values, they will avoid massive, massive turmoil. And I'll go through at the very end, hopefully we'll have time, 10 drastic disasters that you can avoid by having core values set in place. So let's hop into 5 reasons why it's needed in the business. First of all, is just the identity and purpose of your business, your team, and all the things that you stand for. Core values provide a clear sense of identity and purpose for a business. They define what the business stands for, its unique qualities, and its overall mission. Having well-defined core values helps a business differentiate themselves and establish a strong brand identity out in the marketplace. I can think of, and I always tell people, like, go out and think of some of your favorite companies and why you continue to be a customer over and over and over. And it probably has something to do with their core values that keeps attracting you back to them. Decision making. Number 2, decision making and guidance. So number 1, identity and purpose. Number 2, decision making and guidance. Core values serve as a compass. That's what I see it as a compass. Every time you think about making a decision, you first go to, let's call it your top 5. I always have people dial down and create their top 5. Every time you have a decision put on your plate, you take that decision and you put it through those top 5 core values and make sure that you are making decisions based on that set. It will give you a very clear yes or no almost immediately. So when I was brought that business idea years ago, and I kept saying no, because there was something inside of me, it wasn't aligning with what I knew was my purpose and my passion and my path at that point. If I had had my core values set in place, it probably would have ticked the box of 2, but 3 of them were out of alignment, and it would have been a no, a strong no, but I didn't. So I goofed up, right? So it will give you a path and a compass for making those decisions. Number 3 is cultural alignment. And that would have avoided my second big error in my network marketing team that's cost me massively. If I had had core values set in place, when things started going sideways and drama started creeping in and misalignment with different leadership on the team because of bad decision making, we would have had our culture set up and we wouldn't have had to go through what we went through. So it's set your culture. One person I see in network marketing who does this, who has done this so very well, her name is Jessie Lee Ward. If you're familiar with her, great, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, you should look her up. She set core values in her network marketing team at a very early stage, and her culture is extremely defined by it, and she operates from it at all times. And she has one of the most massive network marketing organizations that I have ever come across. She's probably the #1 female net earner in network marketing worldwide at this point in time. So she did something very right in her business at the very beginning by setting these core values and having really great cultural alignment. Customer attraction and retention. Like I said, go out and look at a few companies that you keep buying from, and it probably has to do with something in their core values. Strategic alignment. Core values provide strategic guidance and alignment. They help a business set goals, develop strategies, and make business decisions that are consistent. And then your brand, your marketing, and your customers can all see that strategic alignment. So top 5 reasons needed in business: identity and purpose, decision-making and guidance, cultural alignment, customer attraction and retention, and strategic alignment. Why we need them personally too, I'll go over this just really quick, because this is more of a business thing, but I think that you have to have core values personally too, not just business wise, which is what I lacked. Not that I didn't have core values, I just didn't have them defined very good, but I lacked years ago when that business opportunity was brought to me. But they give you clarity and direction, authenticity and self-identity, decision-making and see, there's that decision-making again, decision-making and prioritization, fulfillment and purpose, and resilience and empowerment. Core values really will empower you to be a better business owner and a better business decision maker. I'm going to give you 3 exercises that you can do to set up and create your core values, because maybe you're saying, like, heard it, It's important. You drove the point home. I get it. I need to put these together once and for all. Or maybe I sort of started to, but I haven't gotten it all the way together. Now it's time for me to put them together. So I'm going to give you 3 different exercises that you can do. And like I said, I put together a PDF worksheet that you can grab. It'll probably be attached to the email on the replay, or in the replay that will be in this in the Self-Made community. Maybe that's where you're watching this from. Just comment below and you'll be able to have that worksheet sent off to you. So the first exercise is reflection and self-exploration. I say grab a journal, grab some colorful pens or markers, grab a notebook, go sit in a quiet corner or your favorite happy place. Mine's out by my pool on my outdoor office little day bed. I love going out there and creating and having just some quiet time to reflect and think about things. So when you're doing this, I want you to think about what aspects of life and work are the most important to you. Like what are the things that are most important to you in your regular, whether you have a day job or you're creating a business or you have a network marketing team, what are some of the aspects of life and work balance that are the most important to you? Number 2, what beliefs and principles do you hold dear? Just jot down, and this is before you look at my next activity. I want you to do this one first on purpose, because I don't want you getting any ideas from anywhere else. I want you to truly just sit down and think about what is important to you. What do you hold dear already? So they don't get mixed up with all the other buzzwords that you'll hear out there. I want you to come up with the things that are really inside important to you. What activities or experience bring you the most joy and fulfillment? You want to have those set in your core values. And I look back at that business decision I needed to make, gosh, 7 years ago-ish now. And I should have been thinking about what was bringing me the most joy and fulfillment at that point. And it wasn't putting a whole nother big project on my plate that was going to need a lot of me over the next 5 years. And had I realized all of that, the answer would have been a clear no. So what activities or experience bring you the most joy and fulfillment? What qualities and characteristics do you admire in others? When you see somebody out there that you really like, I mentioned Jessie Lee Ward. I love using her as a network marketing example because she has absolutely crushed it. Now, could everybody duplicate exactly who she is and what she does? No, she's a beast of no other beast. I've never seen anybody be able to duplicate her exactly. But some of the things that she does are extremely attractive. And so I would go down on my journal and say, what qualities and characteristics does she have that I admire about her? And let me see if I could deploy some of those into my own core value system. So find some of those people that you admire and jot down some characteristics about them that you like. In challenging situations, what values do you rely on to guide your decisions and actions? When you're brought a really tough scenario, let's call it drama. You're dropped some drama on your plate from a family member, a teammate on your network marketing team, a leader, somebody you have looked up to, and something's being dropped on your plate. Now, how do you go handle it? Do you go and talk to other people about it? Do you have trusted advisors that you go in and check in with, or are you just spreading the drama? So I want you to think about, in challenging situations, man, let's call it network marketing. You have one of the biggest leaders on your team that has all the people. Pick up, pack up, and leave and go to another network marketing company. How do you respond to that? How do you make decisions through that process? You should know those things way before they're going to happen. Okay, so write down your thoughts and reflections in a journal. Keep those aside. And then the second exercise is value prioritization. I want you to create a list of values, but I'm actually going to, you did that in the first exercise. I'm going to give you a list of 100. That's the PDF little worksheet I'm going to give you. It's a list of 100 different core values that will include things like integrity and compassion and growth and authenticity and all the things. And I want you to you can check off, highlight, rank them. You don't need to use all of them. There's 100 there, but I want you to kind of continue comparing the ones that you've come up with this list of 100 and reflect on why certain values kind of tug at your heartstrings or make you feel a certain way in your gut. Consider how these values align with your life goals, your passions, your impact that you want to have on the world. This exercise helps you prioritize your values and gain clarity on the ones that hold the most significance for you. And on that worksheet, I've given you space for 5 so that you can dial those all the way into the top 5 that are important to you. And then the third activity is values in action assessment. I always talk about the plan and the do and the review. Let's get those top 5 and then start implementing them, start living by them. I literally have mine. You're probably saying, Jess, what are yours? I have mine on a list next to my desk, and I actually changed one, plan, do, review, most recently when I heard Sydney mention it, because I was like, oh, that is one we as a team in network marketing, as a team in business and in coaching, I've run across a lot, and it's something that I need to really probably deploy more with the people that I work with, because it's important to me. It causes a lot less frustration. You're probably asking, what is it? And it's resourcefulness. It's deploying resourcefulness with me. Go find the answer before relying on everything else to get the answer for you. There's so many tools at our fingertips and so many things that are provided for us, is going out and finding that, being resourceful and finding the answer and trying to work at finding the answer before just asking or acting like we don't know where it's at, or we haven't been given it, all of that. So my core values are gratitude. Number 1, always be grateful. Man, I'll tell you, I lapsed on between the 4th of July holiday and then having a whole family kind of holiday the weekend after, with family photos and family coming in. I lapsed on my gratitude journal. Boy, did I see a massive shift in my mental space, because I wasn't in my gratitude journal every morning for, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 mornings. I skipped it just because I had so much going on and I wasn't paying attention to it. And what a shift the last 3-4 days I've been back at it. And I'm going, that was silly. That was silly that I got distracted and lapsed on my core value. But why I got back into it is because my list of core values sits over here on the right-hand side of my desk. And I had to do a little plan, do, review. And I looked and I was like, yeah, gratitude's number 1 on there, Justin. You're not even filling out your gratitude journal. And look how your mindset is. It's a direct hit for me. So gratitude, number 1. Excellence, number 2. Everything excellence. Everything excellence. No half-assing anything in my business, in my personal life, in my marriage, in my being a mother, me and being a friend. Excellence always. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But striving for excellence is absolutely most important to me, so that I can deploy that into my coaching career too, and my network marketing businesses, all of that. Always excellence. Doing a piss poor or half-assed job is not something I am in alignment with. Resourcefulness, number 3, I already went over that. Number 2, coachable, not just for people who I'm coaching, but for me too. I also have mentors. I also have people who coach me, and I sometimes think that I have the best way. So I have to remember to continuously not only want to attract coachable people, but I need to be coachable myself so I can learn new things. And when I set that as a core value, I actually brought in 2 more coaches for myself so that I could learn more, because I'm a forever learner. So I also need to be coachable. I can be a forever learner, but I need to be coachable to change and shift some things that I might be doing that aren't working. And then number 5 for me is responsibility. Always responsibility. I have one of my very favorite quotes comes from a Bible verse, and it is, to whom much is given, much is required. And I feel very responsible and always want to. I've been given a lot up here, and I've been given a lot in here, and I am responsible to share that with other people and to help other people along the way. So those are mine, and I assess them regularly. So this activity number 3, I want you to plan, do, review. I want you to deploy those in your life, and then decide what ones are the most important, what ones are working, what ones make you feel the most alive, which ones do you feel proud of when you're making choices and decisions. And when you experience a strong sense of purpose and fulfillment, are those in alignment? Go do them for a little bit and then review them. Make sure those are the top 5 you want to stick with. I used to have transparency on my list. And I think that one is one that goes without saying. If we can't be transparent in business, there's all kinds of other problems. So while transparency is a core value, it's an overall looming in everything that I do. So there is many more. Obviously, you'll see that list of 100. There's tons to pick from and choose from, but you pick the ones that are the most important to you. All right, real quick before we hop off here, what are 10 disasters that you can avoid I think I made them very clear at the beginning of this with my 2 personal stories, but what are 10 disasters that you can avoid by having some core values set in place? Number 1, ethical and legal violations. Core values guide decision-making and ensure that businesses operate ethically and within the bounds of law, avoiding scandals, drama, lawsuits, damage to reputation. I could not tell you how important that first one is. And I know that when people get started in these smaller, like network marketing, small online business coaching, smaller online course creation, and they're like, well, I mean, ethical and legal violations is something that big corporate companies, nope, it can happen to you at a very small infant stage. Okay. Number 2, lack of direction and focus. Core values will provide a clear sense of purpose and direction for you, helping a business stay focused on their goals and avoid drifting aimlessly and getting distracted. Number 3, poor decision-making. Core values act as a decision-making framework. I think I spelled that out at the very beginning of this. If you didn't hear that story, rewind and go back and listen to it again. It will help you make decisions not only quicker, but ones that align with you and will stand the test of time, because you won't feel out of alignment all the time. I can't tell you how many times in that 5-year span that I felt so out of alignment with myself and the things that we were doing. Nothing was necessarily wrong. It just didn't feel right. And there's a big difference in something that isn't necessarily wrong. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right inside. You feel like you're constantly fighting something and something seems out of alignment. That means that you definitely did not put decision-making through those core values. Number 4, toxic company culture, toxic team culture. Setting core values, living by them, teaching them, breathing them, and having your whole team, company or network marketing team, whatever, live and breathe by those are going to help you avoid so much toxic drama and people coming onto your team or into your business as a vendor or a contractor or whatever you're hiring for. You'll avoid a lot of conflict by having these in place. Number 5, inconsistent branding and messaging. When you go to do all of your branding, your marketing, your social media posts, all of the stuff, if you have these core values set up, then everything stays consistent in alignment and it always feels good. And your audience knows exactly what you stand for and why, and are attracted to you because of it. Customer dissatisfaction. You will avoid customers being upset and angry because you've prioritized your customer and the end user in those core values, hopefully. And you can set and meet customer expectations, but you can build strong relationships with them too, which then give you referrals and referrals and referrals and referrals because they love you so much. You can avoid team misalignment. Already kind of spoke about that one. Ineffective leadership. Core values will guide leadership decisions and actions, which is what I needed on my network marketing team at that point when I had this person come in, jumping levels above him just to get to the very top. And when I finally set my foot down and said no more, he went right above me and just created such a mess. So ineffective leadership will happen, which is what happened to me. I was being an ineffective leader at that point. And hindsight's 2020. I wish I would have known then, but I know now I could have avoided a lot and probably made a whole lot more money and not caused so many distractions and divisions in our team. Lack of accountability. You can avoid lack of accountability by having some core values set in place, like responsibility is in my top 5. And I am always accountable for my actions and for the things that I say I will get done. And I want the people around me to have the same. So lack of accountability when somebody's like constantly doesn't show up for things and is constantly not pulling their weight and having, you're having constant conversations with teammates or people who aren't doing the job, missing deadlines, all of those things that cause all kinds of problems in your business. Number 10, missed opportunities. Core values can help a business identify and seize opportunities that align with their values and mission, avoiding missed chances for growth and innovation. So you don't want to miss out on really great opportunities because you don't have your core values set up. People are attracted to those. They know what you stand for and they want to do business with you. So they come and find you, they seek you out. I've had plenty of that happen to me over the last few years because people know exactly what I stand for. Actually, the CEO of my company just a few weeks ago, we were in Atlanta and he had to introduce me as a speaker. And that was the one thing that he pulled out, was one of my core values that we have in alignment of why we continued and maintained a friendship and why I'm in the position with him that I am now, because of my set of core values that he was very clear I had set. So I hope that this has been beneficial for you. I hope you learned something. If you are not on our email list, please make sure that you reach out to get on our email list so that you always get these follow-up emails and the attached PDF worksheet that will come with it. If you're seeing this on replay and you're in our self-made community, just comment below that you want the PDF and we'll get it sent over to you in Messenger. And I appreciate those of you guys who hopped on live. Please join me next Monday. I don't remember what the topic is, but I have a feeling it has something to do with superpowers, because I'm going through the 12 steps in my accelerator, like overview accelerator program, and how I teach things in a step-by-step order. So I believe that next week is really digging into your superpower. So if you know anybody that needs to do that, please invite them next Monday, and I will see you guys live next Monday morning. Hope you have a fabulous week.